All right, you dunces, welcome back to what is it? Cute bots, an artwod workout. Yes, I called you a dunce. We haven't used that word much in the past few years, right? So I thought I'd bring it back. Hashtag revitalization of ye olden language. Anyways, fucking artwod, artwod, artwod. They're the only reason I can draw blah blah blah. No, seriously, they're amazing. they're fucking amazing. All right, but we're doing cute bots, which is basically a mech workout, right? The goal is to be able to draw a mech. What am I doing? I'm going to be I'm practicing hinges right now. We're trying to understand hinges. We've specifically been practicing the one hinge mannequin and then trying to design around it, as you can see. And Artwad slash Antonio actually released a video that was essentially everything you need to know how to learn to draw from imagination, or everything you need to learn about drawing, whatever. It's like an hour-long video. You can find it on their channel. However many years later down the line, you'll still be able to find it. It's a very long video. Yeah, and one thing Antonio said that really, because I've been doing everything they're saying, and I'm on their path. I'm on the fucking Artwad path. I'm on the proper technical draftsmanship path. But one thing he said was reverse engineering, which is this. He's like, draw a random shape, and I'm not even gonna think about it, right? We'll just do that. There you go. And now reverse engineer the design into it. He was talking about this when it came to faces, but I think the same can apply when it comes to drawing our little hinge with the design around it, right? I think the same can apply. So I will try to do that now. Oh yeah, and what are all the skills that we're constantly trying to practice? Right, the main one is, of course, visualizing the box, right? We're trying to visualize the box. That's very important. Try to think about it in a different perspective as we're drawing it. Also very important, right? And of course, all of this requires an excess amount of thinking, which means that my brain is obviously being used right now if it wasn't fucking obvious, right? Yeah, visualize the box. Try to think about something interesting. I'm just trying to figure out what I could do for this, because clearly now we've sort of created a bit of a interesting design, hopefully. But obviously I'm not going to be anywhere near as good at this as I will be fucking 50 hours from the of practice later on this, right? But yeah, draw along. I forgot to say that, but draw along. I think I already fucked up the perspective, but we can fix that if it's intentional, right? If it is intentionally fucked up, then and everything else follows. And it's like, oh, genius, this is what he meant to do all along, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. Right? And we can, let's see, I'm actually trying to recall the hinge shape as well. Oh, we can do something like this. Right? So that's the hinge. And again, the first attempts are going to be really, really bad. And also, I'm trying to think while talking, right? But yeah, the goal, for as fucking as well as I can say without getting distracted, is just to think of the perspective, think about the mannequin, right? Thinking about the hinge mannequin as I'm drawing things over it, right? So really, really, really trying to hurt our brains here, like genuinely trying to fucking kill our brains, right? That's the main goal. I'm surprised this ended up working out. I'm actually fucking, what the fuck? How'd I do that? Even though I fucked up the perspective again. And again, that's a good thing, right? We want to be able to. Oh, Antonio also said one thing. He's like, you can create a random shape, but you don't need to fill it all up. Why did my voice turn into this? I don't know. But you don't need to fill it all up. But we can try. We can definitely try. And again, I want to constantly keep reminding you all that drawing is thinking, and it's very difficult. Like I just made a huge. I just I just made a huge mistake, right? And it's going to show very very clearly as we continue, right? Yeah, see, I'm losing it so much right now. I'm literally losing like everything, and it kind of looks stupid. But I'm not saying that to be mean, by the way. I'm just saying that kind of as is, right? It just doesn't really make much sense. But again, this is kind of how we start designing things that look like hinges, hopefully, right? Hopefully, it looks like it. And again, trying to think about that perspective because I created a box and now I have to. I literally, I'll be honest, I've actually completely, like, I don't even see that box anymore. I'm actually trying to get it back right now, right? There you go. That's a bit better. But this is what I mean when I say drawing is thinking, because I completely lost the perspective there, like absolutely lost the perspective, and that's why it's important to have some perspective. I mean, this is that's why it's important to actually think very very hard about what it is that you're doing, right? See, I'm gonna try to trying to keep that perspective in mind, but it's incredibly difficult. There you go, something like that. And then something like this. And I'm just trying to think of the perspective. It's like a little screw thing, right? Doesn't really make much sense. Who knows? And then maybe it'll come down from here. I don't fucking know. Okay, but that was a great lesson because clearly, like obviously, very clearly, you know, I had an extremely difficult time visualizing this shape. Right. I had well, not first of all, I wasn't really visualizing this entire thing. I was kind of figuring it out as I went. But the main priority, obviously, is to visualize the mannequin in the box in of itself. Two very, very, very difficult skills, right? Visualizing the box, already pretty damn fucking difficult. And then trying to imagine a very complex form, right? Which is basically, well, I didn't draw it here, but this is actually the mannequin I'm talking about. So let's actually put it into perspective so people know exactly what I mean. Right, I'm still figuring out this angle. Actually, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. I don't know why. I need to stop murmuring to myself. I'm realizing in a lot of my videos, lots of murmuring going on. Right, I'm not a murmur man's. I don't know why I'm trying to incorporate Toronto slang into this, but this is essentially the mannequin, and it's a hinge mannequin. I guess if I need to make it, I obviously should make it more clear. I have a feeling some people are like, what the fuck, why does he just keep saying mannequin? When I'm talking about, it's a mannequin, like a mannequin, right? A series of simple shapes connected with each other for a hinge, based on, if you look at the previous videos to this, right, what I was studying prior. But yeah, this is and it's the same thing at the top, as you can see. I just that and that, right? And I didn't get to I didn't get to draw it properly. Okay, see, I actually fucked that up, and I'm not thinking too much right now. I was just trying to do it fast, which isn't good because I should always be thinking. But the point is, that is what I'm trying to internalize as I create shapes around it. What type of shapes? Hard surface shapes. Why? Because I want to min-max understanding joints before I move on to like this one type of joint, right? I want to min max having 2 to 3 hinges and being able to design around them, and then we'll do it with ball and joints and pivots as per the workout. But I'm gonna rest my brain, and I'm gonna actually make a genuine effort. I'm not trying enough, nowhere near enough. It's been 10 minutes, so the next 50 minutes need to be full of intense cognitive effort. So I'll be right back, and I encourage you to rest your brain as well. Yeah, reverse engineering a shape into something like that is difficult, and I could have done a much better job. It's such a fucking blob. I laugh, but I actually cry inside. But yeah, I didn't really use my brain for that one, so which is honestly pretty cool considering I could do this without using my brain. But at the same time, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to fucking die, right? I want my brain to be dying. There you go. Just made a random shape. Feels of having more angle changes. This is literally just a blob. I'm sure there are obviously very skilled artists, and I know down the line I should be able to make something out of that, right? But right now, that's not what we're looking for. Okay, let's try something like this. I'm just trying to think. Let's see. Again, we're trying to consistently internalize that mannequin in our minds, right? As well as the perspective, obviously. So that's all very important. There you go, and then we'll have. Right. I don't think I did it properly here, but it's okay. He laughs, but he cries. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just trying to think about like general shapes that this could work with, right? And then, okay, well that's a bit off perspective, but there you go. I gotta really keep that perspective in my mind. So I'm really trying now. See, that's the thing. It's actually very easy to forget how to put effort in, and by not, it's not as if we forget to put effort in, but it's kind of like the best way I can explain this is I'm forgetting to just exert that consistent energy in my mind to visualize the box and to see the mannequin, right? And that causes strife, internal strife. So perspective's already a bit off. And then I gotta think about let's see. Right, because if I got this, well, something like that, right? I'm just trying to think about the angle for this. It's very difficult. I'll always, I guess, keep saying it's very difficult for fucking ever. That's a mistake. See, because again, this is off perspective. I drew that off perspective. But I feel as if this is a really good practice. Thank you, Antonio Bentonio. I appreciate you. There you go. Because again, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to create interesting shapes. And now we can just try to figure out what the hell interesting shapes means, right? Because I do have that current opinion right now that Nobody tells you what that means. Like literally, dude, nobody fucking tells you what an interesting shape is. It's really just kind of figure it out, you piece of shit. That's the best we get right now, right? And it's not helpful at all. This is why I'm trying to, like, once I figure it out, trust me when I say I'll keep repeating it so I understand exactly what that is. Because right now I don't understand shit. Right? Still thinking of that mannequin, really thinking of that perspective. We can actually do something like that, because again, it's a hinge, right? It has the ability to fucking move on an axis. It doesn't need to be attached to one specific thing. Right? Oh wait, no, it's like that. You know, and that also helps me think about perspective in multiple ways. And now I'm feeling good. Why? Because my brain's hurting. Holy shit, it's hurting. That's really good. But I'm trying to think, like, what else do people do? Right? It connects there, then it comes out. And Antonio did say, like, you don't have to fill out the entire thing, right? This is just to ideate. So honestly, like, for the sake of I actually am creating pretty decent stuff now. I'm not gonna lie. If you look at it, compared to just what I was struggling with before, this isn't too bad. This is it's a step in the right direction, which we should be appreciative of. Can't even fucking speak. And then we can do something like, right? Boom. Would you look at that? Now that right there, that right there looks like a mech joint to me. That right there looks like a mech joint to me. Oh fuck, never mind. That right there looks like a perspective mistake to me. I give up. I'm sorry. Never trust a Vagu's word. Oh, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, cool. We will take that as a double Jew, right? I'm gonna rest my brain again, right? Actually, even though I was thinking I want to keep memory drawing, right now we're gonna keep ideating on designs, because that's the main focus, right? And I technically am memory drawing every time I fucking try to draw this thing, right? But yeah, that's a huge perspective mistake, actually, if you look at it. But don't look at it, right? Then it's not a mistake. Mistakes only happen if you acknowledge them, right? Let me rest my brain. And please do the same. So yeah, let me keep pushing my brain even further and further. The goal is obviously just to see as much as I possibly can. Visualize, right? I believe that's the sacred tenets of all artists. There you go. See, I'm gonna try making it more organic. Not so the shape needs to be organic, but so that the shape has deviations, I guess you could say, right? Little changes here and there that I can account for in a mechanical sense. But again, the main thing right now is just to keep internalizing that mannequin and keep trying to think of stuff that can go over it, right? Because I'm #so over it. Just keep drawing. Just watch me become great. Just keep drawing. This man is pathetic, they said quietly. No, you, he said loudly. And yes, that was a mistake, but we're just gonna ignore it. I think we've established that mistakes only happen if you acknowledge them, right? Okay. Now, again, see, I was zooming in a bit too much there. Like, it's very difficult, but there's a million skills involved. seeing the box, right? Seeing the perspective grid, the box, right? Zooming out. It's all about zooming out. Like this is, you don't want to be zoned in here. I want to be zoned in like kind of, this is the range, right? So it's like I'm not so focused and I can think ahead, because the more I can zoom out, the more, I guess in my mind, the way I see it is like the more I can just think ahead generally of what I should be drawing, right? And I don't mind going with the first idea I have. It's just important that that idea makes sense to me from a aesthetic standpoint, right? And that doesn't mean it has to be perfect either, because that's not perfect. Nothing about this is perfect, but I do need to think clearly about, okay, I think I know what I'm going to do here, right? And again, I'm really glad Antonio said, hey, don't worry too much about fitting inside of it exactly. It's just about using that as an opportunity to I guess yeah, again, I'm thinking right now, so you're not gonna hear me be extremely fucking talking really fast, but yeah, using this as a general guideline in terms of confinement, right? Like, okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be, and then we can sort of ideate off of that. And the main thing is, like, while I'm drawing this, I need to constantly be visualizing that mannequin, right? Constantly. And it's very difficult. It is incredibly hard, like me. But that's better. That's a hinge. And I think this design is mediocre, but it's okay because just add another cylinder. Now it's like, wow, it's much more detailed. No, it's not. No, it fucking isn't whatsoever. But who's the artist here? Me or Jew? But okay, and then we can something like that. Right. Just trying to think right now. There you go. Right, and what I've really come to appreciate is, I don't know, for whoever actually watched my shit, right? Like whoever actually watches my videos, which is not many of you, right? But if you did, you'd know that with this cute bot stuff, especially, I was going through a lot of having expectations, which were really fucking my art up, if that makes sense, right? Like having lots of expectations, which were just not good because I was not aligning myself in according to the process. I was aligning myself according to the expectations I had around the final outcome of the process, which is literally, by the way, for anybody listening, a one-way ticket to just being shit. It's just a one-way ticket to being shit. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Okay, you're just not gonna enjoy anything you fucking do, not just with art, but when it comes to any type of skill learning. Okay, so what you need to do is separate yourself from that process, and that comes from just like what, because separating yourself from the process is what? A mindset. And what is a mindset? A skill. And what is a skill? Something that can be learned, just like this, right? So separating, you need to, what do you need to do when you need to learn a skill? You need to constantly remind yourself, right? You need to constantly be aware of everything, the work that needs to be done. What am I doing right now? I'm constantly focusing on the process, right? I'm constantly only trying to remind myself, listen, the effort you're putting in right now to visualize the box while you're speaking and visualizing the mannequin while you're speaking, while you're ideating on what the next step is while you're fucking speaking, right? That's all a skill, right? And the mindset, the skill part of that mindset, or the mindset part of the skill, whatever the fuck I'm trying to say, is the fact that consistently reminding myself is just the effort, because I'm spending an extraneous amount of effort right now to see how I'm going to connect this, right? It is, extraneous is not the right word, an excess amount of effort on how I'm going to connect this and make it all make sense. But the main thing I always want to say is pee pee poo poo, and that it's the effort that matters. So never forget that. If you're making a genuine effort and you're struggling, just like I am, and you're feeling like, damn, am I even doing this right? Just like I am, then you're exactly on the right path. Just like I am. Hashtag self-aggrandizing methods. I don't know what I'm saying. Hold the fuck up. That didn't really work out too well there, but because actually the main thing I need to focus on is making sure the hinge isn't lost, right? That the hinge design is not lost, you know? Because we could do a lot of stuff here. And again, don't forget that I have to fucking constantly, and by the way, if I'm telling you this, I'm also telling myself this. It's like I have to constantly remind myself that the box is there, right? So constantly. That's hilarious how often I just forget the box exists, you know? Yeah, it's always more for myself as reminders. And if these reminders serve you, great. If they don't serve you, well, hopefully other things that I've said do serve you, or you find resources that do serve you, right? We cannot be the go-to, like, you can't be everything for everyone, right? What I can be is someone showing their learning journey. At the very minimum, that's all I can be, right? And if that helps, that'd be amazing. I would be very, very, very happy. You know, all my shitty jokes aside, if I help people realize that they can draw and that there's very specific things they can do to draw better, right? And if me narrating my consistent struggle and my thought process helps you, even fucking better. Because all that means is that it will hopefully be relatable in the sense that, like, you're like, okay, this guy is also going through it, you know? Like, I'm also getting my ass kicked by this skill, and he's also constantly reminding me that this is a skill. And I accomplished that. I'm a happy guy. Okay, that looks pretty complex. The only question is, we don't want to, or not the question, the only thing is, I don't want to lose the hinge part of the design, right? So we need to start thinking, because this actually doesn't really work that well, because hinges have things attached around them. This kind of just looks not that, it doesn't look like it makes much sense, which is good, but because that means they're just only upwards to go. And like, this didn't really make much sense either. I don't know what I was doing there, right? So we don't want to lose the hinge part of the design. That's the main thing. So I'm gonna rest my brain, and then I'm gonna try again. I think a few hours from now, I'm definitively gonna say, once I feel as if, okay, I can design decently, right, around this one hinge, then I will most probably, I want to practice a lot of memory drawing. The thing with memory drawing is, like, it's obviously better to do it when like, as consistent as possible. It's probably obviously better to, if I want to memory draw, just keep fucking memory drawing. But is it pride, is it ego, whatever? The point is, I want to memory draw things that make sense and have a purpose, in the sense that, like, okay, I know that if I memory draw this, it'll be similar to something that will be applicable in the future. I know there's also the other argument where, like, okay, if you just practice memory drawing, no matter what, it'll be applicable in the future. But my ego, or whatever, if you want to call it, hubris, whatever, the fucking, my pride, whatever, okay, my stubbornness to want to only memory draw nice designs is kind of getting in the way right now, right? But we'll see how it goes, because at the end of the day, I will be drawing from memory for a very long time, right? There will be years and years where I'll be drawing from memory. So maybe, and we'll have to see in practice, but maybe offsetting it until I can design something decent, right? Not so far in the future, but like every few hours or so, right? It's like, okay, I get pretty decent design, then I memory draw. Okay, I get pretty decent at one hinge, right? Because I am going to be practicing hinges for memory. Technically, I have been memory drawing this hinge, but yeah. Anyways, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. The point is, I'm going to wait, try to design something nice, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, let me rest my brain. I'll tell you this right now. Already not thinking about the outcome and just focusing on the effort I'm putting in makes me feel a million times better. The only thing that matters to me is that right now is that I try to put as much fucking effort as possible. Literally as much as possible. Because that's all I can control. Right? And this is actually, drawing outside of these organic shapes is actually finding a great way to keep the perspective in mind, because this, just having this here, it's actually pretty easy to completely throw off my perspective, if you know what I mean, right? Because it's like, what the fuck, these lines are just impeding with my visualization. Curved lines, bright red curved lines are impeding with my visualization of a straight box, right? We all know that, or hopefully you can tell relatively that this is, this is the box that it's being encompassed in, right? Hopefully, like, you can tell that. If you can't, that just means you have to continue practicing your boxes, right? And that's okay, by the way. That's not an insult. Like, I have drawn thousands of box and cylinder clusters, and I'm not above those. I will do them another fucking 1,000 times if it means I must refine my basics, because the basics are what's going to create the skill, you know? Like, I can't make this without thinking about the box and thinking about the grid and thinking about the forms and thinking about visualizing these forms. It's all the basics, right? So it's nigh impossible, much like Bill. This is a shit joke. Like Bill Nye, like Bill Nye. Actually, wait. Oh wait, fuck! I changed the perspective in my mind for this by accident. Fuck! I don't know how that even makes sense anymore. Oh no, it does. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I almost fucked that up because it suddenly went upside down for me, and I was like, wait, but yeah, that makes sense. Fuck me, man. This is the thing when you know perspective a little bit too well. Not as if I'm like a fucking perspective god or whatever, but by the way, I'm still visualizing. I know I'm talking and shit, but I'm really visualizing and trying to figure out how I could do this, right? Because at this point I want to also have a relative design in mind, right? And that helps quite a bit, but you can't have a relative design in mind if you don't have some sort of visualization ability, right? So and again, when I draw these lines, I lose the visualization. I want to also make it very clear, right? So don't ever feel as if it's just fucking perfect 24/7 from the get-go, because in no universe is it ever perfect for me from the get-go, all right? And again, I lost the perspective again. Okay. Right. But yeah, it is never, ever fucking quote unquote perfect in terms of my ability to because look, that's actually the wrong perspective. Even though I tried to visualize that, right? It is the wrong perspective. And now it is my job to fix it to the best of my ability. But it's not that fixable, right? It's just not that fixable because I lost the perspective again, right? I want to let you know that, like, I lose the perspective consistently, but you know what I don't lose, or I try not to lose, can't even say don't lose, is my ability to keep trying. Yeah, so deep. No, it's my ability to keep reminding myself to put an effort in, because that's, again, all I can fucking control, right? Say it with me, everybody, say it with me. All I can control is the effort, right? Fucking dumbasses. I'm talking to myself too, by the way. Yeah, when I'm insulting, I'm also insulting myself. I want to make it very clear, right? We're all in this together. Doobie doobie doobie, school's out, all that shit. Now that just looked bad, right? Because that's not what I intended. So let's try to think about what's happening here. Okay, you know what? Because this looks bad, we're just gonna leave this as is. And again, we're gonna keep visualizing the mannequin. Oh yeah, there's like a fucking, there you go. Right, we're just gonna keep visualizing this hinge mannequin because this hinge mannequin is very good, very important. And we'll still make lots of mistakes, right? Because that's just how it is. And again, always trying to put an effort in, right? That's my main thing, is it's all about the effort. Because if I don't put an effort in, then I might as well just die. Wee. Okay, so that is not good. But that doesn't mean we simply give up and the rest isn't good either, right? Because it can, and I guess from a design perspective, and I know like the word design is so, it's just used everywhere, right? But I guess if I'm going to use it, then might as well try to use it definitely relatively decently. Right, from a design perspective, I could start thinking about that was a mistake. Yeah, that those lines just weren't clean. But from a design perspective, we can also start thinking about, let's see. Like even that isn't too bad, right? Cool, because we can extend this outward. We can actually make the we can change the design a little bit. You can see how it goes from there. And again, don't forget that this is all ideation, which is essentially experimentation, right? That's what ideation is. Is none of this is going to be good, but it is going to serve as a foundation for what could be good later down the line. Know what I mean? So there's no obligation to do anything spectacular. The only obligation is to try my best to do something spectacular, right? Spectacular? Can't even speak. To do something spectacular, right? And that is the only bar that needs to be met, because that's the only bar that can be met, is trying. Know what I mean? Literally just trying. So again, bare mistakes. And that's the point, right? Which is why we tell ourselves it's a good thing. Because otherwise we're just not gonna learn. Also trying to think out loud. I made a couple mistakes. I changed that a little bit. Okay, but the hinge is more noticeable here, right? The main thing is that there's too much going on here. This is okay. You can't tell what the fuck's going on here. That's okay. So clearly, as I established before for myself, and I guess I'll establish for you guys, is right now my understanding is if we're gonna have hinges that look readable, we're going to want to emphasize or keep this part intact. Right? We're gonna want to keep this intact, seemingly, in terms of just my own bias. Like when I look at something, what looks nice and what looks like a hinge. Right? We're gonna want to keep this intact. We're gonna want to keep like this little hinge shape right here. We're gonna want to keep it intact, and then the rest is what? Designing around it, right? It's like, oh, okay. That's is that what's happening? Right? Because then I guess it just comes down to, okay, how does it function, right? That's just me thinking out loud, but I guess the main thing I'm continuing to try to do is the hinge is readable, and there are elements surrounding it that possibly enhance it. And I know I didn't do this, I literally was not in this shape whatsoever, and that'll get better with time, of course. And that's good, because I made an effort. I genuinely made an effort, right? So I'm gonna It's already been fucking 40 minutes. Jesus Christ, bro. How the fuck has it already been? I drew 1, 2, 3, 4 things. Okay, well, you know what that means? That means I was trying. So let me rest my brain and then we're gonna keep trying. Yeah, again, the main thing I'm trying to do is not to beat myself up over the fact that sometimes it's hard to make that extreme amounts of effort that I talk about, right? But at the same time, I really do like making that effort. You know what I mean? I like pushing my brain to that extent, but the skill that I'm building, which is also talking while I'm making that effort, I feel as if is the biggest thing impeding my ability to consistently output that effort. But again, skill issue, right? Always, always, always a skill issue. So let's see. I'm trying to think. I already did 2 from the above perspective. That was supposed to be the below, but it ended up looking like the above. So we should do one from the below perspective again. Right? Okay, so we'll do something like this. And always and forever, I will have trouble understanding how this works. But I will figure it out one day. Honestly, have like another cylinder here for design, right? Because that's all I say now. Design, design, design. Yay! All right. I did like what I was doing here. I just wish I tried to do it a bit better. So again, we should. You know, the main thing is the fact that it just has to be subtle, right? And my subtlety is lacking at the moment, and obviously that comes with lack of line confidence, and I didn't think ahead there as much as I should have. Oh, I have an idea. Okay, so we could do something like... Oh, okay, I know what I could do. We could do something like... And again, this all comes from the bottom perspective, right? So we just need something that something like this, right? I guess I can obviously try to explain what I'm trying to do, which is adding a little covering around this, and then something like that, right? And then what do we do? What do we do? And it can have an opening like so, and it comes all the way down here. And this is just, again, ideation. I'm just going to keep saying that so people are aware that I'm just coming up with reasons as to why it doesn't look good. Just ideation, guys. Just ideation. Right? This is already a bit fucky. So, because I lost the perspective there again. Right? Is there any way we can make that look normal? Maybe something like that. There you go. And then I'm obviously trying to do something here. Kind of went to shit there, but I'm just really thinking out loud. But you know what? The idea I have going here is literally the first step towards something that's gonna be really cool. Like I see the vision, you know, in terms of what it could look like. Is just like, if we're talking mechanically, what I'm trying to do is like a hinge attached to something else, right? Like it's attached and then it's attached back again to the hinge, you know? That's what I was thinking. And I made a mistake there. I shouldn't have closed that off. But the main thing is that it connects. So actually, that's kind of, this isn't exactly what I was going for, but ended up working out pretty decently. You see, like that. That kind of looks dumb now, but this little triangle here isn't too bad. Again, like trying to figure it out, right? If the thing is mechs, right? If the end goal is mechs, I think what I need to do is really start thinking about how the mech's arm or the mech's fingers or the mech's neck or whatever is gonna move. Because I think it's actually important to start thinking about these in terms of anatomy and body parts. Oh, I don't know anatomy or body parts, but we can think that, okay, if it comes down to a joint, right? Shoulder is a joint, and then to the shoulder, to the elbow is a joint, that to the wrist is a joint, that to the hand is a joint. Like we can at least understand that much. But and now applying it to the next level in these little reverse engineered shapes is probably the next step, right? We can like I can even do something like this. Or maybe this is just me kind of thinking out loud. It's like, okay, well, kind of just encapsulated, right? And this can actually have way more of a purpose now, because maybe this can be this, right? Now this doesn't look like anything special, but maybe even this is actually something that's attached, right? Nothing incredible, but I think again, like these are pretty decent steps because we can see a hinge-like thing is happening, right? The biggest thing to focus on and to work on is everything surrounding that, right? What those look like. But hey, that 3 days from where I went camping and I came back now has clearly done great for my brain, because I'm just a lot more free. I'm just a lot more free and I'm experimenting. So I'm gonna rest my brain again. And then this is great. I can literally see myself doing now. This I can see myself doing for a long time, just in terms of the limitations I put under myself, as well as kind of the infinite possibilities I've also expanded for myself. So yeah, let me rest my brain. And I encourage you to do the same. Oof. Okay, I definitely want to do two more, so that will probably go to around an hour and 10 minutes. Because again, I really do feel like I need to put more effort in. I'm trying to, as I said, I'm trying to find that balance between. Obviously, I'm always trying to put effort in, right? And I did something extremely cringe where I was like talking to ChatGPT. I'm like, I'm on the right path, right? And it's like, you're on the right path, bro. Don't worry about it. Right? Sometimes it's good to have an ear that doesn't judge you, care, and only wants your data. So clearly, I struggle very much. I struggle very much. But at the same time, the fact is, because I'm putting in effort, no matter what, there's obviously something good happening either way, right? Oof, this is like perfect what I've done here for what I'm thinking of, right? There you go. Kind of it's probably a little bit understandable as to what I'm thinking. But at the same time, I need to, as I said, think it through, right? I think this time around, this is what makes sense, perspective-wise, right? And again, I'm really trying to visualize, right? Really trying. And then so what I'm thinking is like something attached here, it's going down. Same thing, same concept like this, but with more purpose and intent, right? And with the purpose and intent comes more difficulty, obviously, because we want it to make sense, and I want to keep thinking about the perspective. I want to make sure I'm not doing anything retarded. So, see, like something like that, right? And obviously, again, perspective is off, but this is why I'm trying to visualize it as well as I can, because you'll notice that even when perspective is off, as long as the form is readable, many things are forgiven. Not that I ever want the perspective to truly be off, by the way, right? I want to clarify that I always want to be making sure the perspective makes sense, but it's just a nice little liberty you can give yourself. Okay, I think I fucked this up. Yeah, fuck that up. It shouldn't have been like that. But we can actually fix that right now. See? I need to think this through. There actually may already been a lot of mistakes that have been made at this point, but the best part is just to keep going, try to see if I can envision what I originally envisioned to come true. As the wise men say, come true, fam, come true. Okay, and then I was thinking something like, okay, see, like I wasn't thinking ahead enough. I was just thinking something like this. Something like that. And then we would have something like that, right? And see, that's not what was supposed to happen, but I kind of made it work there. But just trying to make it also look like it's intentional. Let's see. Yeah, something like that. And this actually ended up looking like a lever without even me meaning to, but trying to think, how can I make this look like it's maybe part of a design? And yeah, just trying to fucking figure this out. Sorry, trying to fucking figure this out. There it is. There's my fucking. I'm not muttering too much. There you go. Add some cutouts, right? Do the same thing on the other side. Has to be kind of visible. There you go. And I think again, like there's a lot of issues here because I was having trouble with the hinge itself, right? The actual hinge, in drawing that accurately, I was having a lot of trouble with that. So obviously I need to be honest about that. So again, right? This is also a channel about transparency. I refuse to make it seem as if I'm just doing this willy-nilly and that there's no mistakes. I'm doing this all easily. That is not what's happening. No matter how high a level I get, that's never what's happening. Okay? There's always a lot of effort that's going to be happening into it. Just the nuance of that effort is going to be increased, of course, right? But never ever think that I will not be trying. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. See, I'll let you know that right now. I don't know what I'm doing here. I thought I had like something in mind, but I didn't think hard enough, and now it looks like shit. So we'll leave it. We'll leave it right there. I'm gonna rest my brain. We're gonna do one more. These are good. Again, we're just getting these ideas out, right? And functionality is extremely difficult to emulate. So right now it's just about we have something functional like this hinge, and then it's just obviously understanding that this one was rotating on an axis that was like this, right? It's just about following the perspective, right? This one's axis is rotating. Fuck, I fucked up the arrow, but yeah, it's rotating like that. Right, this one's axis, right? This one is what kind of perspective? Yeah, it's like that, right? So that's this thing's axis, right? Because this is just one axis hinge, as Jonas Minnebo puts it. Again, artwod has this amazing mech design course. They're getting rid of it, which is unfortunate, right? They're focusing on their roadmaps. I really hope they put out a mech roadmap equivalent, because maybe all of this will be fucking streamlined way more. Because I'm kind of creating my own little mech design roadmap for myself right now, based on what I know, right? Which is break it down to simple shapes, right? What is it? Reference things and then break them down and then make them into like part of your visual library and then start designing around that. The designing around that part is something I'm doing. I don't know if that's something they don't really particularly do it in that way when it comes to artwod. I feel as if it's a help, clearly, right? It's helping a little bit, but yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. Fuck the resting my brain, bro. I want to fucking kill my brain. Fuck this shit. I really want to kill my brain. But again, I didn't have any expectations. I'm doing my best to just focus on this is the work that I'm doing, right? Like it's just I'm just drawing random shape, and now there's multiple skills involved with reverse engineering this random shape. Putting perspective into it, putting design into it, putting the mannequin into that design, right? The hinge mannequin into that design, retaining everything while I do it, making my lines clean, right? My lines have been pretty meh for this one, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it doesn't always have to be exactly as we think it should be. See here, now I'm making it a lot smaller, and that helps too with kind of thinking about where I can take it, right? And that's the thing, there's always a million things that could be learned. So I just got to keep focusing on what I am learning right now, like what can be learned, right? Which is just, I'm thinking about the box, I'm thinking about the perspective, I'm thinking about designing this to the best of my ability. I'm thinking about how we can work around these shapes, because this end shape is really unique, but I just need to think about how I can turn it into something that's decent, right? That comes with visualization. But let's see. Let's just see where it goes. I don't know. My voice is so fucking crusty. I didn't even yell that much during this camping trip. I was actually sleep deprived as fuck on the second day. We actually decided to stay an extra day, which is why I'm drawing on a Tuesday rather than the Monday, because I would have been back on Sunday. But instead, I was back yesterday, which is a Monday. What an amazing, riveting story instead of me drawing, right? But okay, let's just start kind of filling this out, seeing where it can go, while keeping it in perspective, of course. And let's see, we'll do something like this. Right. And then we can also try something like this. I want to kind of do the same thing on both ends. But obviously what I'm saying won't make sense until I do it. Right, but I'm just really thinking right now, which is the main thing that needs to be clear, is I'm really thinking, right? So let's see. Do something like this. Just trying to think right now. Oof. Yeah, okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create that little screw attachment, but see if we can do another screw attachment attached to this. But I don't think it makes much sense. Right? Because obviously I didn't do it properly enough, but you know what? That's the beauty of knowing how to manipulate form, is I can just do something like this. And it's still, even though it's not mechanical anymore, like super mechanical, it still can be understood. Right? And we can actually do something like that. So there's one part of the equation. I forgot to add the other part, which is actually attaching, making sense. Okay, well there's the hinge. And now we can even think about like how this can be encompassed, right? Because if it's a hinge, we can literally just be like, okay, it's actually attached to this much bigger thing. I'm just thinking out loud, don't mind me. And then it's like, okay, now where does that go? And maybe that goes, look, oh, it's like an arm now, right? I'm just trying to figure it out. In terms of like, there's a lot of ways we can add little details, no? But the fact of the matter is, I clearly am starting to hopefully think of these hinges in that sense, right? Same thing here, where we can start thinking about, and actually what I love is the beauty is the fact that, or like, what am I trying to say? What I love, the beauty of this is the fact that there's so many ways it can attach. Like, as you can see, none of what I've done is incredible, but they're all I'm just ideating in different ways, right? They're all so different, which is the really, really cool part, which I think should be appreciated, to be honest, because at this point, I've internalized the mannequin to a degree, right? And yeah, the proportions are different than the initial when I drew, right? But at the same time, it's not about getting the proportions perfect. It's just about understanding exactly what it is that I'm trying to draw and accommodating it for that, right? There you go, something like that, right? I know perspective's off, and it's okay because perspective will always have glaring issues, but the most, and see, the line is obviously a problem as well. The most important thing right now is I'm just doing my best to see it as I go, right? There you go. Right? We have hinges now, but obviously I should have added a little connection there, which I didn't. So we're working on that, right? We got, again, connections to connections to connections. Like that's kind of the main understanding I'm having right now, particularly when it comes to just designing robots. Is like we want to be able to connect, right? And it can go a lot of ways. I mean, we can even do something like this, I believe. Right? And the same thing can happen on the other side. And it's just a matter of kind of trying to figure out exactly what can be done. But this type of stuff can really create a mechy design, I believe. Right? And I should be going a bit slower, so let's try to do that. Should have been the other way, actually. Yeah, let me. Oh, again, I'm not fucking speaking too slow. It should have been the other way, actually. That's what I said. Right. There you go. Something like that. And this is where the main hinge is being highlighted. Right. It's like, oh, okay, now we have the hinge attached to something here, right? It's attached to something there. What those somethings are isn't anything particularly impressive. Let's not be mistaken, but this is great. This was a great session. I mean, I'm going to be doing an hour again in like the next 20 minutes, 25 minutes, but it's pretty good. And again, it can just keep going, right? We can just keep filling it out and making it make sense. It's just like boom, okay. Again, I shouldn't rush, so that's on me. That's obviously on me, but I'm just trying to prove a point to myself more than anything that it makes sense, right? Like this is how things can look relatively mechy, right? Even if it's not incredible, because it's all based on this hinge. But I think the line quality and yeah, the line quality needs to be better. Maybe the hinge needs to be a bit larger, or just the shapes I'm drawing around it need to be a lot better. But again, I didn't think much throughout these, so that's on me. So let's take a step back for the next time, for like the rest of this page, and just really take a step back and think about the functionality and how things can connect, and all the different ways we can think about things connecting. Because the main thing is there's so many ways that things can connect to this, right? So where is the example that I drew? Am I fucking blind? Yeah, there it is. So things can connect here. They can connect, again, it's the same thing down here as it up there. So they can connect there, they can connect here, and they can connect here. That's 4 points of entry. And I already talked about this in like the last video or the video before that. One of them, I know I've talked about that. But again, saying one thing and being like, Eureka, and then doing it are two completely different things. Because when you have to do it, it's not only that Eureka matters, fucking, it doesn't matter at all. Because you're not thinking about that shit. You're thinking, oh, fuck, what do I think of? What do I have to do? Right? Like all the different skills I just mentioned. But even though this one is probably the worst in terms of lines, it's probably the best in terms of the idea going forward, right? So that was a really fucking fun session. I definitely did put a lot of effort in, right? I actually wasn't even thinking much about the end result. I was just thinking about what I was trying to do and just really focusing on that. So we're back until like fucking 3 months from now, where I have another random moment where I'm like, I don't know how to learn anymore. But until then, we're back, right? But what is it always? Focus on the effort, focus on the errors, and derive enjoyment from them. All that matters is the now and the trying, right? And I hope you tried right now. Well, what a fucking segue, bro. I'm a genius. Anyways, as always, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing, and please give me money. Thank you.